Welcome to Beyond the Megawatt. I am Mara, and this is
Valerie.
And we have a special VIP guest with us today, Dan Molloy, and some of you may know him as Fiber Dan, which immediately piqued my curiosity when I heard that because I started in the industry at Corning, and all I knew was fiber. Actually, they brainwashed me because they said copper is dead, and there's just fiber is the future. And so welcome to the show. We're going to talk a little bit of everything AI focused today, some of the nuances around what AI means to our industry. It's impacting a lot of things from design, construction, workforce development.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's touching everything.
Yeah. So we kind of want to start on the background. I would like to know how you got the name Fiber Dan.
Yes.
Start with that.
Oh, Fiber Dan. That's an easy one. That was coined to me from Cloud HQ where I work.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
Just had my 9th year yesterday. Yeah, a guy by the name of actually John Belton from Black and White from our European design team coined me. He's like, "Oh, there's Fiber Dan," and people have been calling me that ever since.
I like it. It rings just really smooth with your name. So yeah.
So tell us a little bit how you got in the industry. Like, how did you end up here today?
Sure. It starts back when I was in high school, and no one knew anything about the internet. No one knew what it was about. And one day in class, everyone just had these computers just set up, and everyone was like, "Ooh, what's that?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, that's the internet." And it started off as no one knew what it was, and I was like, "Oh, you guys can look stuff up."
And this is when you were in high school.
Did you have a computer in your house at
Yes.
this time? Okay. How did you end up? Because not a lot of us had computers in our homes.
I mean, I learned to type on a typewriter in high school. So that tells you how I'm aging myself.
Did you how did you get exposure to computers?
So my mom raised me. She was a single mom, and she had she was going to college and waitress, making ends meet. And so we had this computer, and she was like, "Hey, I got this thing in the mail." It was about it was like log on to the internet.
Oh, the little disc.
Yes, I remember them.
And it was a University of Arkansas account login. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." So I went to check it out, and it was like, "Welcome to the World Wide Web."
Wow.
Yeah.
And at the time, what was really popular was what's called IRC, which is like chat. And I remember logging in, you could just see like all the people were just talking, and you could go to different news groups.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So then you're in your classroom, and I guess you start educating your fellow classmates on this really cool thing where you could actually find out stuff that outside of just what you're learning in the classroom.
Yeah.
The most fun though was playing network games.
That's pretty cool.
That was kind of the start of the networking, and it was cool because I knew I liked networking, computers, and bringing people together. So I used to stay after school and hang out with the people that were installing all the networks.
Wow.
So that's sort of what got me started. And then after high school, I joined the Air Force and got stationed in Maryland at Fort Meade and did the networking for that.
Oh, wow. That's phenomenal. Thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah. And it was good. It was a good experience. Lots of fun.
How was that? And then you transitioned out. And what was that like for you? What was that experience like?
That was really wild because at the time it was the internet company were coming up, and they were paying like a lot of money. So I was like, whoa. I remember getting paid like, my parents were like, "Are you making how much?" Right after high school.
Wow.
Because everyone was just like throwing money away for the .com days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but I also remember the crash of 2001 and thinking, "Oh, wow, okay, internet maybe is bad. So what am I going to do now?"
Yeah. I talked about that the other day because I went through that too. I was hired in 99 and then 2000, it was like this wild ride and everything was exciting. And everybody was like, just make as much cable as you can. In fact, I made a mistake one time and I was entering an order and it was like the print on the jacket it was a hybrid cable. And somehow you have to enter these serialized part numbers for the cable. And I made a mistake. And we printed like 500,000 feet of cable, and it had the wrong print on the jacket. So I called my customer And I was like, made this mistake. I just started. What do we do? And they said, how fast can you make it? Again, we'll pay for it. Just make it again. And that's how crazy it was. And then, like you said, a couple years later, all of a sudden it's just like crashed. And then,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a long path into infrastructure and fiber. And no doubt that's why you are Fiber Dan. So, one of the things that you talk about even in social media and online is your leadership style and bringing your whole self to the table. What does that mean to you?
Well, the data center in itself is like a combination of everything I've ever done. Like it's like a little bit of IT troubleshooting. It's linking network together. It's working with different vendors, whether it's like pulling the cable around or the construction people. So bringing everything to the table just means like accepting everything you've learned, and you're almost always, it's like a new day. You have to reflect upon all of your experiences that you've done before in the past, and show leadership through the problem solving skills, and hope for the best.
Yeah. So what are you seeing with the new folks who are coming into infrastructure for the first time? Are they bringing sort of this cutting edge? Are they teaching you anything?
Well, what's interesting about the kids nowadays is they have a lot more specific niches to get into.
Yeah.
So some people are like, oh, I'm doing cybersecurity, or I'm doing data science or programming. So when I was first starting out, you pretty much had two choices. You could be a computer programmer, or a teacher. Those were like the two computer science fields. And now people have a lot more.
It's funny. Dan Golding just released an article, or maybe just made a post about how like we're losing a lot of talent of folks that have that deep networking stack of capabilities. And where are we going to get that talent from? And then my observation has been those folks have gone into, like, let's say you go into a hyperscaler, that's everything's like very under NDA, it's confidential, it's proprietary. And then they go in here and they go into this little space and they lose that sharing of knowledge. And so the workforce development is becoming an issue, but now we're losing a lot of that knowledge base. And how do we what is your perspective on how do we get that knowledge into this next generation of talent?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I'm thinking, one of the, obviously with AI can kind of play into that, but the learning tools and mentorship, apprenticeship, we have to make sure that you have a lot of knowledge inside your head. When you get new people on your team, what types of practices have you deployed to kind of get that knowledge out of your head into the hands of your new team?
You have to paint the picture. You have to give the people a goal and the vision, and let them kind of see it for themselves, and then sort of give them tips every day, follow up with them, ask them how they're doing, where they're stuck. And then I have to constantly remind them of like the bigger picture.
Right.
Because people get kind of bogged down into the details, like, oh, I don't know how to do this particular syntax, or I don't understand this. And you try to like create something that they can relate to.
Right.
And then that's something that once they are like, they get the aha moment, that's pretty exciting. And then,
well, coming up when you came up with the internet kind of becoming a thing, we had to learn things like we didn't have a transfer knowledge. We were learning something as we were going through it. So I could kind of see where we're,
the Gen X generation definitely got the grow with the knowledge, that hands-on. We could, as it came out, we were all learning together for the first time. But now you have the generation who didn't even know half these jobs were available to them. And we've all grown in the industry so fast that we've forgotten to how to, pass that knowledge down with SMEs like Dan and be able to, and then we get scared, well, what if he leaves? What if he goes someplace else? We can't lose Dan, but, we've got to, AI is a really great, way where if you're scared to adopt AI, It's sort of that old school mentality of where we kept that knowledge so close to our chest because we were afraid that someone was going to take our job. And here we are, fast forward, there's a huge skills labor gap. There's a gap. There's a huge, uh, the data centers are growing faster than we can bring folks in to even manage them. And here we've kept all of this so secret and knowledge to our chest. We've got to change the way we share information. We got to change the way we create continuous improvement within a business. And that as you're growing through your career and you are an SME, you have a place that you can actually put that. And it's quickly upskilling the new folks who are coming in. Every lesson learned that you've experienced, right? Every problem that you've solved. There have been so many over the years, but you know them. And until we get it out of here and someplace where someone can easily search for that, what do I do if I'm experiencing the exact same problem? Has anybody else experienced it? Well, that's what AI is so beautiful. You can take a lot of data and organize it in a way to upskill our future. And I think that if more people really looked at the foundation of utilizing AI as a way to upskill our teams faster, and by using our SMEs while we still have them, we have about a decade of the folks left before they reach retirement, right? We're going to end up in the same situation again if we don't start doing something different. So anyway, so that's just some of my observations.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like what's interesting about AI is I can query myself already, and it's already, for example, ChatGPT. If I say, "Tell me about FiberDan," I just tried that, and it was spitting out all kinds of.
I think our listeners are probably doing that right now. ChatGPT, tell me about FiberDan. I'd be curious what you find out.
And it had all the information. Maybe because it scrapes my blog and it scrapes the LinkedIn, and so some of my information is already out there. It's interesting. Conversely, I went on Gemini and I asked the same thing, and it referred to a Google employee because Google is Gemini, and it was talking about a Google employee, FiberDan, and I was like, "What?"
You were like, "I have a double team or what?"
I am the FiberDan.
I am FiberDan.
And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was referring to the more well-known FiberDan from Google."
Oh,
wow.
I was like, "Oh, ouch, Gemini."
Yeah, Alexa can be also as brutal. So that's.
But I love I love using AI as a companion to learn more about some kind of task that's really out there.
Yeah.
Something that's like extremely hard for me is, well, probably anyone, is like some kind of astrophysics or something crazy, something like so far out there. And I can say, explain this to me like I'm 5. And it's like, okay, this is how the 4th dimension works. And it like draws
this is how the 4th
dimension works. Yeah, right. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think I got it now.
I think I got it.
And something I share with my kids as well is if they're doing homework or there's something, I said, yeah, come here, look. You can explore a little further topic on here, and you can say, in theory, you can say, all right, if I change, if my daughter was studying, was it astrophysics or something, and I was explaining to her about you can say, oh, if you make a rocket ship that is 400 feet wide, how far can it go with so much fuel? And giving her different problems to ask it. So she can come up with her own like concepts and then test it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then see, because it's a black box. You can put anything in there and it returns.
I like to do
something.
that too. I like to take something that I hear from somebody else, and I like to take a thought that I have and add it. Like, okay, ChatGPT, this is the article that Dan just put on LinkedIn, and he said something about, which we're going to talk about, AI is an ally. Is that what you said? Or
Yeah, allies for sure.
Yeah, but what if I wanted to take like another approach and be like, "But I think AI is the devil." What? Tell me what you think about that, and then it can actually kind of push that back to me.
Yeah, it is. It is an ally. It's something that is. It's if you use it as your friend or your assistant, then it's quite helpful. Yeah. And it lets you be free to think more abstract, because it's not going to come up with anything new. It's only going to be regurgitating what it already has.
That's true. Talk a little bit with us about the human inference part, because you did touch a little bit that in your article. But how does human we interact with AI to create this these better things, and how do we work together? How do you see that?
Yeah. So in that particular article about the SAT AI, I think that's probably what we're referring to.
What is that?
uh, you mentioned Generation X. So the Generation X people, in my mind, are counterculture, and we sort of did things against the mainstream. That's how the internet came out.
Yep.
And it was a free your mind type of platform where you could create your own ideas and share them freely with almost zero cost to publishing, which is, in my mind, still the root of the internet.
I want to know how fiber architecture is evolving to meet latency, which is one of our big pain points in the data center industry throughout, as far as a throughput need for AI.
So I think right now AI is extremely inefficient. It takes a tremendous amount of power, as well as fiber. Good for our industry, maybe not so good for the environment. But I think what we're seeing is more fiber between servers. In order to create this giant hive mind, everything has to be talking to each other in real time. And I think what we're seeing now is lots more fiber in the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, thousands more.
So where does fiber sit in the hierarchy of AI infrastructure needs, and what happens if we get it wrong?
That's a good question. If we get it wrong, I don't know what's the loss. It takes longer to respond.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is we're having to develop more infrastructure as fast as we possibly can. And this infrastructure has to meet this AI demand, right? But then we have this other piece of sustainability. And I'm wondering, I feel like sometimes they're working against each other rather than with each other. Do you see that?
Yes. I mean, for now, yeah. It's because, we're high energy fossil fuel right now, mostly. Nuclear is becoming more popular, which is great. I think concrete, which is 10% of the world's carbon emission, until we can start building mushroom fungus walls that are able to support the loads of the server racks. I think ultimately the saving grace for us is the big ball in the space, which is the sun. I think we have potentially for lots and lots of solar, and I expect probably in the distant future most data centers will be in space.
So how does blockchain and predictive analytics play into what's next for operations? Can you get into that? I know that's one of your expertise, but
with the advent of AI and the ability to create virtually anything, I mean, have you guys gone on any of the sites and created an image?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You can do all kinds of fun things like, I don't know, put two people together and say, what does the kid look like? And it generates the photorealistic image of someone. And you're like, wow, I can't tell the difference. Or there's websites you can go to. It's like amireal.com, and it's like nothing but image generated people.
Right.
And if you look at it, you're like, I can't tell if that's real or not. And sometimes it's obvious, like there's 20 fingers or something.
I will have to say, I'm becoming more annoyed by the data center images that AI spits out, because it's nothing like what the data center.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be banned, and I never thought I'd say that because I even used some of that when I started my company. But I think we need to get better at building the data centers, and before we start putting out AI images that aren't really reflective of how they actually look. Yeah.
I think, but more to getting back to the blockchain, I think you can create fake receipts, right? There's fakereceipts.com or something like that, and you make all these AI generated receipts. I think where blockchain comes in is you're going to be able to authenticate if something's real or not.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's the big power of the blockchain. People are going to want to have identity and verification of objects.
Interesting.
And I think
that's actually going to be really important, because we actually have seen the misuse of AI, right? And so now we're like putting somebody's face on something that wasn't them, right? So
all the deep fake stuff.
Yeah, that's really important. Yeah.
I'm not real right now. This is the image.
He's not really here. So as far as like predictive analytics, how's that playing a big part within data centers and how we improve operations?
Absolutely. I mean, with predictive analytics, and particularly with failures or things like that. I mean, you asked about sustainability. I think that's one area where, data centers are probably the most efficient at is with predictability, and AI is going to be able to crunch way more data sets than we will ever be able to crunch.
What's it tracking these days? It's the most important.
Any type of statistic. I think with power energy consumption, I think CRA, computer room air handlers. I think what's interesting about AI is you're going to be able to pair different things that aren't necessarily related. Like all of a sudden you can see like the usage tied to the internet, tied to like maybe there's a failure somewhere based on the weather, and then it'll like based on that.
Well, I would say too, is as fast as the chips are evolving, that predictive analytics and how we're keeping these chips cool are going to be extremely helpful, right? As we continue to transition the technology. I mean, we're still doing quite a bit of air cool, but I think as the technology evolves with the chips, I think predictive analytics is going to really help us kind of keep up the cooling technology with the chip technology and make sure that we're designing and building. And we want to get to a point where we don't have to pause anymore.
Right.
Keep having to pause. And I think that hopefully that is going to help keep us on a faster track to keep up with each other.
I think also in regards of training, we're going to have lots of data sets available, and electricians that are coming up are going to be able to work in a simulated data center environment and do things.
Similar to what our old BIM used to be.
Yes.
This will be
exactly.
the future where we can actually build it, work out everything, understand all of the problems, and then go implement it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the training is extremely beneficial because the power is dangerous.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why I'm in IT is because packets don't kill me. Power kind of scary.
Yeah. No, I like that.
For sure.
So let's move into the future. If you had to forecast the biggest change in data center design 5 years from now, what would it be?
5 years from now, I think we're going to see probably. Should I go on a limb and say quantum computing?
Oh,
maybe
I agree.
5 years. I think ultimately we might see 1 gigawatt for one big computer, and the entire building that we see will be for one giant computer for crunching some kind of crazy quantum. I just saw some article that said the moon is made up of the same material that is made with solar panels. So if there's a way to carve out panels on the moon using the moon dust and beam the energy via microwave. Right. Yeah, exactly. Maybe someone was having fun with AI on that one to create some kind of crazy model.
I mean, we never know. I remember thinking that the fact that we would be able to see each other and have a conversation virtually across the world was just out there and sci-fi. I mean, I remember them saying that was our future. And then fast forward, that's just an everyday. So, I mean, I don't think anything's far-fetched anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I think wireless communications is going to improve significantly. SpaceX with Starlink has already done more for bringing internet to people than any fiber has.
Which is important. I mean, even in COVID, we realized how many outliers, if you're not near a city and you're in the country and how many children didn't even have internet to be able to do school during COVID time, and how we still were it just really revealed how we were really behind. The deficit of getting internet to other areas was such a need. Rural broadband's really important. So how do you think the technologies like the blockchain and predictive analytics will change day-to-day operations in hyperscale environments?
Again, the blockchain could be used for something that you don't want to have tampered change. So I think with regards to the data center, I expect to see blockchain being held for billing and maybe for SLAs, service level agreements. So now we're going to have some sort of record that's going to show, oh, this thing was an outage, and blockchain will be able to automatically credit the KPI, that the SLA violation right away. So the service providers are going to probably be upset with that one, but the clients are going to like that.
Well, it's a good segue into my audacious question. Everyone thinks AI is going to take their job. Is AI going to take your job?
AI is going to take my manager's job. I think the people that use AI daily are the ones that are going to be safe.
Why?
Because that's the productivity. I think the decision making from middle level managers is going to be done by AI, and the people who are going to be creative and coming up with some new prompts are the ones that are going to be the ones that are paid the most.
Interesting. And so if we're blocking AI from our companies, or blocking it from our education systems, or blocking it for the future generation, a decade from now, and we know this is a part of the future, it's not going away. Good or bad thing?
Definitely bad thing. I think people are going to need to know how to use AI for sure. But if you follow Ray Kurzweil, the singularity, he thinks that we'll have the chip embedded in us by 2029, which will link us to our own AI unit. Mm-hmm. So there may be no escaping it.
So the only thing that's missing is the digital dollar.
The digital dollar.
Well, we do have crypto, but it's not.
Well, the Bitcoin strategic reserve was just signed into law by Donald Trump today. Yeah. So
there you go.
We may be having the digital dollar after all.
Because that was the only thing missing. Once the internet was created, was streamlining that as part of our system, and that really makes a holistic digital environment.
If you think about it, every industry has been disrupted by the internet except for finance, and now finance has finally been disruptive, and I think people are scared as hell.
Yeah.
So,
what's your prediction? Two mic drops.
My prediction for crypto I think everything will be pegged to the Bitcoin. Yeah, I think for sure Bitcoin is going to be the source of truth for all fundamental models, because people are going to want to have some sort of basis of truth, and all this chaos that we have right now, which is amount of streaming and.
See, that's a knife to my heart and soul on Bitcoin when it dropped the first time. So I never recovered.
Oh, it's coming back.
It's going to come back.
But I mean, people inherently want to have the truth system out there, and then everything will be based on that. Pretty soon, things will be priced in Bitcoin.
Okay. Well, that was my audacious question, and we want to thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Yeah, right on.
Giving us your insights and telling us where FiberDan came from. So now everybody else knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a wrap.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoyed this.
Okay.
FiberDan.com.